Hello, everyone. Oh, we're so excited. We're so excited to be back here at I Love Tools. We're starting right now at 3 o'clock here on the Eastern Seaboard. We have a great show lined up for you today. I'm just saying, get ready to be like a sugar high because there's so many fun things. First off, and I know people will be joining us all along, I want to give you, and we'll put them in the chat box often, but I want to give you, let you know who's going to be on after I tell you all of this. So we have Patrick, we have Pam, we have Wiz, we have Shelly, we have Cindy, and me, your host, Allison Lee. And you're going to love everything that they're going to show you. I'm just warning you. It's get ready to get all jazzed up. But before we turn it over to them, I just want you to have this coupon code because wait till you see all the new classes at CraftCast. Use this coupon code for a week. ALT, I Love Tools, Fall 24. It'll give you 20% off. Take advantage of it. It's good for a week. And then, because we love, love, love Cool Tools and working with them over there, free shipping from Cool Tools for the week with the same coupon code. If you don't know about Cool Tools, you're going to definitely want to know about them. They make well, they have all the supplies you need practically. And they also now are doing with us kits, which makes me very happy. And you'll see. First, I want to show you a little bit of what's coming up for those live classes that you want to use your coupon code for. We have starting, look at those beautiful daisies in polymer clay. I adore them. Anka's going to show us how to make polymer clay findings that you can use with any necklace. So you can make a beautiful finding behind your piece, your necklace, not just use like a store-bought one. Sean is going to come on and show us how to make big metal clay chains. I'm a big fan of the big chain thing. Love that. Um, then someone new is going to come on and show us, uh, Sean, how to do pop-up card workshop. How much fun is that for the holidays? The one you see in the lower left there, it's uh, a lantern. You can put one of those battery operated candles inside, and then a red bird that sits by it like a cardinal, and then also a card that opens up and shows you a beautiful like dove or any kind of bird that you want. It's so cool. Have fun with us doing that. And then guess who? Shelly's going to show us how to do all of these magical colors with well, what you did call them magical colors using additive resin. I did this one. I'm just showing you off that it's doable and you'll frigging love this. You're going to see a little demonstration coming up. All of you enamelists, Pam is going to come up with Ms. Pam East is going to show a easy copper project, and she has worked this out with tools. So you're just going to freak out. You'll just see how great that is. Enamel away. Then we have also Wiz is doing. I mean, how cute are these? Keepsake ornaments, a tree, another kind of bird, a puffy star. So much fun for the holidays. But wait, there's more. We also have coming up a mix of polymer clay and metal clay. Look at that locket there and the bubbly kind of look in it.
That's
Insanely
polymer.
gorgeous. Really beautiful. And then Mr. Patrick is going to show us how to do all kinds of molds and soldering and adding gemstones in a beautiful selection of pieces and jewelry. And then one more amazing polymer clay work with this graphic shape that you're going to just love. I mean, I'm just freaked out about seeing those. So try polymer clay, try metal clay, try paper arts. That's just through the beginning of January. We have lots of cool stuff coming up. So I just wanted you to get a little sneak peek of that. You can go over to CraftCast and go under the live webinars coming up where we put them all. That's where you register and use your coupon code and give that a try. Missy just put that link in there. If you had any problems, we noticed today someone had a hard time setting up a new account. Just email us at support@craftcast.com. Sometimes the tech gremlins out there play around with things and we don't like it, but it happens. But we fix it. What else do I want to tell you before we start? Let me look. Oh, so this is the part at Cool Tools. This is a personal thrill of mine because I don't know how you all feel, but when I was little, the thought of getting a craft kit with all my supplies was a high, is all I could say. So now we've partnered with Rhonda over at Cool Tools. So all of the new classes have a one link click to go get the supplies you need. Instead of what we did for years, we'd have a dozen or so links. Oh, buy this here, buy that there, buy ba 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 ba. Now we put it all together in kit form. Um, Cool Tools is the best to deal with any questions, customer service. So take a look at that. That will always be in the handout. And Misty just put in there, you can click on that link and start taking a look at all the kits. And you can add extra things in or take something out if you don't need it. But we try to make it so it's the essentials that you need. I know a lot of people have been enjoying that. Am I out of breath yet? Did I say everything? Oh, yeah, there's a few more of the different kits. I mean, so much fun to get started, which is what we will do right now. So I am always thrilled to work with these wonderful group of people who are going to present to you live. I don't even know how to warn all of you what's happening next, what Patrick is going to show you, but just take a little ride and listen to what he has to say. So, Patrick, you know the deal. You let me know if you want me to pause on anything and talk more.
Okay.
I am thrilled for you to now share with us what you're going to share. And with that, I say, your turn, honey.
Thank you. Well, I thought I'd start off by showing some of my work and how it sort of relates to this next product that I'm going to be showing you. I do some work in cut paper. Most of you know me for metal clay, but I've started integrating metal clay into altered books. And this is one of the projects that I did. And this type of project is going to be great for this new machine. And this new machine is called the xTool Ultra and the M1, excuse me, the M1 Ultra, and it does just about everything that you need it to do. It prints and it cuts vinyl and makes rubber stamps. You can see here how I made this altered book just by using the laser to cut into it. What you see here is a block printed text instead of printing directly onto the paper. And then, of course, everything else has been cut out either with the laser or with like a Cricut type of machine. Actually, I have a Silhouette now that I think about it.
You have
um,
all the machines, that's what you have.
well,
So
see, and this is exactly sort of what the problem is, right? It's like I got a stack of machines, and it's like I have to plug and unplug and do all this kind of stuff. So, um, for doing this type of work, I really love this machine that's coming up. So this puts it in a little bit of context. You can pause here for a second.
mhm.
So the cool thing about this machine, this little sample of something that I did, is that it combines a printer and a cutter and a laser and a foil machine all in one. And so you're able to print on wood. The earrings are on a wooden panel. So you can continue here.
I had a hard time believing him when he told me this, when he was showing this, that it really does all of the above.
It's a laser cutter, blade cutter, printer, foil machine, and embossing machine. Plus, there's more. Next.
I mean, that's hard to believe, but I know.
So there's the little graphic with the machines. I actually have more machines than what's on the left. But, some of us have a tool problem.
But wait, let me point out in that it's reasonably sized, the new machine.
Yes, yeah, yeah. It's about 24 inches square.
I mean, that's not bad.
Next.
I mean, we're all taking up all of our space at this point.
And just a little bit of specs if you have it comes in a 10-watt or 20-watt laser, prints directly onto surfaces, has a blade cutter, has an adapter for the pen that you can use. It has a rotary engraver, and then there's a bunch of other stuff as well.
I, yeah, blah, blah,
Next.
blah. Yeah, it's cool.
Here's the printer in my office, and I
Eh,
just have it right next to my computer. And pause here for a sec. So this is the secret here. This is the key to all of those machines in one, these little components. And you can buy extra components if you want, and they come in the kit. I ended up buying the kit. Starting on the left, we have the inkjet printer module. And the ink that they use is a special ink, and it's waterproof. So you can print on just about any surface. And it's really fantastic because, unlike your traditional printer, which takes the sheet and sort of rolls it through, this is actually a flatbed. So you can actually put pieces of wood or acrylic or whatever and print on those pieces of fabric. The middle one is the carriage, and it contains the pen adapter, which you can see, a roller blade, and two different types of blades which cut. One is a fine detail blade, and the other one is a deep cutting blade. And then, of course, the laser. You have a choice of 20 watt or the 10 watt. I went ahead and just got the 20 watt.
And didn't you say it also has a coffee machine attachment, so you're all set to go in the morning, or no?
Yes. Okay, next.
Because that makes it
Yeah, this is
perfect.
an espresso maker. Yeah, there's a
Yeah,
little close up of the tools. Looks familiar to the Silhouette of the Cricut.
it does. It looks very familiar there. Yeah, if something could coffee and
There,
cook, that'd be good.
there you go. There's the pen tool.
Is it their proprietary pens, Patrick?
No, you can use any, just about any pen.
Okay.
Okay, here's all of the things you can do. You know, you can kind of read this here and go through this, but the inkjet printing and the cutting are what I have been using it most for, along with the embossing tool and the foil tool, actually.
And does the debossing look that good when you were doing it?
Oh yeah, yeah, it looks really good.
I mean, that's pretty.
Prints on wood, paper, acrylic, canvas. Uh-oh, what happened?
What happened?
Hello?
You can't see anything? Uh-oh.
All I see is the Zoom logo. It just
Oh
sort of
dear.
switched.
Can hear you.
We hear you.
Okay, I am completely blind. All I see is the
I
Zoom
can see
logo.
it.
I
We know
apologize.
he's we can talk behind his back for 1 second. Patrick tends to have technical problems when we do Zooms. We can see it. Thank you, Lisa, for saying that. Yeah, we're good.
Okay, I
You're
don't know
not
what to
good.
do here. I am not good. This
Okay,
is the
I'm going to
first
go
time.
through it, and I'm going to since I sort of know what's happening, and then you can fill in as I'm telling you. It does
Okay.
print on all of those things. Yeah, you might. No, don't rejoin yet. This is a picture of his earrings, and he was saying how he made the holder and printed on it and cut it and did everything with that machine. And it does gold foil. That's when I was like, you've got to be
Oh, I
kidding
wish I
me.
could see. I can't see.
Uh, and so, yeah, I'm just telling you what he said to me. This was something he cut out that was this, Patrick, tell me, it's your cutout that shows your
Ah,
score
here it is. I
test.
see it. I see it
Okay,
now.
go ahead,
Okay,
take
yeah,
over.
this is a really cool. Sorry about that. This is a really cool thing. It's a nice feature. If you've ever used a laser printer, laser cutter before, you have to do these tests. Every time you have a different material, you have to do a test and do all the
Hmm.
different, enter the power and the speed. This does it automatically. It gives you a tool which you can just put in how much power you want and how much speed, and it prints out
Oh
this
my God,
grid,
that's
and it's
great.
like an automatic tester, and it tests for you all the different materials. So if you use a new piece of wood, or a different type of wood, all of your settings, you don't have to go through. This literally would take me a couple of hours to do a test for one material. With this software, it does it in literally minutes. I mean, it's a huge time saver. So I
Okay,
thought I'd include that in there.
uh,
Okay.
okay, everyone's getting worked up here, so let me take some questions.
Okay.
Does the
Well,
machine cut
actually,
through? Yeah.
I was going to say we can take questions during the video portion
Okay,
as
let's do
well, because
that.
that's
Let's do
coming up
that.
next.
Hold
Yeah.
on, everyone. Let's do that because that's a good thing because we're going to see it actually in the work. So that's a really good idea.
This is the key, printing and cutting in one go. So I don't have to go from one machine and print my inkjet out to the laser cutter, back over to the foil embosser. It's all in one step, all in one machine.
Which is just,
Okay.
it's hard to believe he's really saying this.
Next.
All right, so here we go.
Here's a little sample of the software, and something that I was working on. You can see it goes through every step of the way, and then it tells you when the task is done, and it says what you need to do next. In this case, I needed to change the module. So I changed the module and put the foil transfer module on there, and started it up, and then it told me, oh, it doesn't match. You put in the wrong one. So it's really, really good. Now here's a sample of the printing actually on a piece of wood. You can see how that works. And
And we've left the sound on so you guys can hear the machine too, because I thought that would be
Yes.
great to hear what it
And
sounds
here's how
like.
you change out the modules. You just swap that right out. You don't have to touch the material or anything. You just swap out that module. And it's really sturdy too for this type of machine. These modules are great. And this laser just sort of slides in. There's a latch at the top that you can just hit. And then after I printed it, I had decided to put down some masking tape. So because sometimes you can get a little bit of charring, and so the masking tapes prevent that charring and prevents some of that smoke that comes out and will get on the surface. So that's what I'm doing here. And then we're going to go through with the laser cutting as well, which you'll see next. So this is where we were going to take questions.
And you can hear how it sounds, right, everyone?
Yeah,
It's
that little thing just measures the thickness, and then it does all the calculations, and then you press a couple of buttons, and then off you go. It just starts printing. Just start cutting.
and we enjoy the sound of a machine at work. All right, some questions while we're watching. Claudia wants to
Yes.
know, does this machine cut through 7 mil Mylar?
Oh, that I do not know. I haven't gone to 7 mil.
Okay.
I probably know. That sounds kind of thick.
Well, we'll look it
Yeah,
up.
I
Like,
can't
hold on,
answer.
we
Yeah,
don't
we
have
can
the
look it up.
exact answer on that. Lisa wants to know, can it cut dried metal clay?
I have not done that, but I am assuming yes, because if you can do anything that you can do with a Cricut or a Silhouette, you can do with this machine.
Wait, Pam is shaking her head that we can't do something. What, honey? No dry clay?
No, the laser would sinter it.
Okay, there you
Oh
go.
no, I'm sorry. We would swap out the laser and put in the cutting tip,
Oh,
Okay,
right,
just
there you
like
go.
the Silhouette. Yeah,
Thank
just like
you.
the Silhouette. I'm sorry.
See, we're good. We have a
Yeah,
good
we're
group
four
here.
in one machines here. 4-in-1 machines.
Yeah.
I'm looking at a laser that got me off. Sorry.
Yeah.
And wait, Janice wants to know, okay, we will talk about the gold foil. Let me pause right there because we saw it cut. Did the
Okay.
gold foil work easily and well, Patrick?
Yes, it did. It
Okay.
did. So this is what we produced. This is a piece of wood printed directly on with inkjet, and I just put it together and assembled it. I just got this pattern off the internet, off of Etsy.
I mean, it's the
Next.
fact that it's all in one is sort of mind blowing. Wait, hold on
Yeah,
one
yeah.
second. Denise wants to know, is this a diode? No, is it diode laser?
A diode laser, that I don't know,
Okay.
but it should be in the specs.
Right.
It should be in the specs. I'm getting a little bit confused because I have now I have three lasers. So it's like one of them is a diode, I know. But it doesn't require any chiller or anything like that. You can vent it right out of the window.
Okay.
It's a pretty great little machine, and it's good. And I bring it up because it's good for both art and business applications.
Right.
And so if you can move on to the next one.
And does it have, wait, there was another good question right there. Go ahead. Go ahead, Patrick. You keep talking.
Yeah,
I'll get the
it
questions.
does have its own software. And here's another sample of just something that I downloaded off the internet. I modified it and made my
It,
own packaging.
it is a game changer with all these different machines. I agree.
Next.
Oh, you just decided, you just said how the smoke is handled. You can vent it out when you're doing the laser. That's the part when
Right.
you vented it out, I
And
believe.
they also have a couple of different types of air filters as
Okay.
well. You can move to
Okay.
the next one.
And this is not related to Glowforge at all, Jamie. It's totally separate product.
So there's just something. And it's been kind of fun to just experiment with different types of packaging and all of that stuff. So it's
And
been
someone
kind of.
just looked it up. Thank you, Lisa, for doing it. It is a diode laser.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, it's just so great to have it do everything because we do know what it's like to keep changing machines when you're trying to do something. And that's where you said you use the gold foil somewhere too, right, Patrick?
Yeah, it's hard to see on the main display, the necklace display, but you can see I put the logo down on the bottom, and then this is actually wood that I layered with paper on top of it so I could do the foil.
I love
So
it.
if you move to the next one, it'll show you how the foil works. I believe that's where we're at.
Oh, there
Yeah,
it is.
there's a little bit of the foil. You just take it, and you just tape it right on, and you program it in the machine, and it just comes right in, and it does. It's really nice. It just really that foil just adds, it just bumps it up a little bit and makes it just look so good.
It's fabulous. And I'm just, um, does it have scanning capability and then modify? Don't know.
Um,
Did you,
I'm not sure. I'm not sure what that. No,
what?
it does not have scanning. It doesn't have a camera. Unfortunately,
Okay.
that's one
Okay.
thing I wish that it would have.
Okay.
Like the Glowforge has that ability where you can
Yep.
scan something,
Yep.
but not this.
Okay. Now, I just wanted to bring something up. I know that everyone's looking to see the cost. I will tell you this. I tried really hard to get in touch with them to try and get sign a coupon or anything, and no one got back to me. I'd find that sort of interesting, but who knows? Um, because I tried for everyone, because I know we're all
Yeah,
like, oh,
yeah.
come on, Christmas is coming on. Sandy wants to
And
know, is
this,
this machine as intuitive, user-friendly as a Cricut? Excellent question, Sandy.
um, I would say, yeah. If you could do the Cricut, yeah,
Yeah, okay.
yeah. It's pretty. It's just different. It's not that it's
Right.
difficult. It's just a different way of approaching
But
things.
it's not a huge learning curve. It's a workable learning curve.
Oh yeah, definitely workable.
Yeah.
Definitely. So this is, I'm sort of flipping the page here from the art stuff that's created to the business stuff. And so this is a pin that I'm selling on the website. I decided to do some packaging with it, and you can go ahead and go through these next ones relatively fast but I put a die cut on the top portion, and I was able to, again, print out the die cut all in one pass. Uh, and I went through, and of course, every single one of these has a different die cut up at the top.
It's great, the printing and the die cut together. They're so pretty,
Yeah,
Patrick.
thank you. Thank you. These will be on the website soon. I think that I just put up the golden ratio one, so it's available on the website. But it's been kind of fun to go through these and make all this packaging.
For us art student, college kids, we all know about that golden ratio.
Yep, yep. I put an article on my website, and here's some more of the altered books that I was doing. Just wanted to walk through some of this. There's some wood that's been cut out by the laser, and then of course all the papers cut by laser.
It's great. I
You
bet
could do
this
it on
keeps you
this,
up at night thinking of what else you can do.
well, it's about what not to do. Because I
Exactly.
get all these different ideas. It's like, okay, now what can I not do? So, but this is a little kit. These cards are actually hand painted, but if I wanted to make multiples, I could scan that in and, have it printed out on the M1 Ultra. And these actually fold up. If you go to the next one, yeah, they fold up and make little rings. It's just more of a conceptual piece. And so every one of those pockets has a different design. And then when you make them, you need a place to store them. So on the right-hand side, if you can go to the next.
I don't think there is a next, is there? No,
Oh, there's not a next?
I
Oh,
don't
I
think there
thought there was a
is. I think
next.
that's, oh no, there is. Sorry, sorry, sorry.
Yeah. So there's a little niche in there, and you can keep all of your rings in there, and off you go
That's
to the ring
crazy.
races.
I mean, come on. There was one more. Sorry about that. What did you guys think? Are your brains like going wild? I know, right? Exactly. I mean, I know. Okay, hi K. It's mind blowing, right? Right? I know. Will it
Yeah,
laser
yeah.
etch metal? It
Uh,
does, right?
Enamel. She asked if it
Not
would laser
this.
etch enamel.
Yeah, it depends on the power of the laser. I haven't tried it on this one. I know that it does on my Glowforge. Um, it'll, etch glass, enamel, stone, granite, things like that. Not
Okay,
granite, I'm
stop
sorry,
talking.
slate.
Stop telling us. Stop. Don just said, I'm not going to sleep. That's what I mean. That's what I'm talking about. People, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah,
Anyways,
it's
check it out. It's a great tool. I love it.
um Patrick will do more classes. What we'd like to do though is when he does his class, which he has a class coming up, he'll always show a little bit of what he's using on a new tool, but we don't want to leave people out. So we always like to show people how to do um, with a tool and then without a tool so that you're not left out, not being able to join us in. Let's just finish off. Karen wanted to know which X tool is that one?
It's the M1 Ultra, And things are changing rapidly. It's probably about a month old, so it's really, really new. And they just had an update on the software today. So yeah,
So
yeah,
we know
it's
how
good.
everything changes. I think the
Yeah,
best
just
thing
be
to do
aware
is
it's new.
be aware. Yeah, just it's easiest to do. Just type into Google X-tool and you'll find a website there.
M1
Um,
Ultra.
M1 Ultra is
M1
the
Ultra.
one.
Yeah, they have another one which actually is a fiber laser, and you know it etches into metal as well, which is really cool. That's on my list, but I can't do that right now because I just got this one. So
There you go. Wait, Karen got the M1, so we applaud you. She must be having fun with that.
yay.
Um, yes, he is lucky to play with all of that. Uh, and Christine just put in just for some updates. You guys are reading the chat box. 1100 price is 600 off the right now. So
Yeah.
people will run good specials coming up with the holidays. So keep our eye on
Yeah.
it. And I'm not sure if
And
we
to be
should
clear,
thank you or not,
there's
Patrick, for showing off this.
well, I just wanted to clarify thing. To be clear, there's two models of the M1. There's the M1 and the M1 Ultra. You
Okay,
want the M1 Ultra because that's the one that's 4-in-1.
got it. There you go. Thank you for clarifying
Okay.
that.
All right.
M1 Ultra. I'm sort of exhausted, but we have more people, so let's move on.
That
Thank
was
you,
just
my
the first
darling.
one.
That was the first one, I know. And Miss Pam is up next, which, what do I even say about Pam? Like everyone here, they just explode with ideas. And I am in the lucky position to be able to show off their wonderful ideas and teaching to all of you. So I just say, hold on to your seat. We're going to start again now. I'm just going to let Pam take over because I just know that you'll
I may
see
have
what
one or two things to say.
I think so. All right. All right, girlfriend. Here we go.
So what a lot of people don't know yet, and just hold on this one.
Yep, I will hold on all
Um,
your JPEGs.
what a lot of people don't know yet is that I also bought a laser. I bought a different laser than Patrick. I got an industrial laser. This is not something I'm suggesting you go out and buy, but in April, I bought myself a big industrial laser, and I have started cutting and manufacturing all my stamps and templates in-house. And so
Sold at Cool Tools.
it's distributed through Cool Tools.
Right,
Everything is distributed. I'm not doing direct sales. Please
right,
don't call me for direct sales. It's
right.
all going through Cool Tools. But I did launch Pammy's Laser Creations, and hopefully in the next months or maybe just after the first of the year, I'll be able to cut for other people as well. So if you're looking to have your own designs cut,
Cool,
that's coming.
cool.
What the reason I mention that is because this was an aha moment for me. I wanted to design a project, an enameling project, where we could get to the enameling a little faster. It's you've always got the metal clay part of the class, and then you've got the enameling part of the class. And I thought, how can I speed this up? And I had an idea for a piece of jewelry with a frame, and I got an idea for a stamp, and I went to my Silhouette. I do these things in Silhouette, Silhouette software, and designed it, went over to my laser, printed it, and I had a working stamp in an hour. So being able to do this in-house is so much fun. But then I got going with it, and it's like, oh, this is going to be really good, not just for my class. And so this is one of the sets.
I'm going to show that. It's all
It's
great.
going to be all sets. This is what the stamps look like. And I'm going to show you closer or more detailed images of all these stamps so that you can see what the designs look like. Sometimes a picture of a stamp isn't as clear as a black and white image. But there's 6 sets, and this is set A, which is small earrings and small pendants. And every pendant has matching earrings. So you could be making sets really quickly.
I think what you just said really quickly, people are going to get as we move through here, and you're going to see because the patterns are there and ready to enamel or just
so
patina.
This is one of a sample from the small pendant set. I did a little pair of earrings there, and of course, all of the textures are textures that I have designed. I don't, I draw everything. So this is the large pendant and earring set. This is set B. And it has I wanted to incorporate a couple of asymmetric designs as well. Not everything needs to be symmetrical. And so I
And
just
we have a
wanted to,
picture here of the large one.
yeah, I was pausing on it just long enough for you to be able to see the designs, but you'll be able to see it out on the website too. Cool Tools has these and they're up. And this is now I want you to pause on this one for a minute.
Yep.
This is, I did it, I wanted to try them with copper enameling, and it worked, but not, they're fairly shallow. They work fantastic on silver enameling, but when you do copper, things need to be a little deeper. And I'm going to be talking about that in my class coming up in November. There's a lot of considerations with copper enameling that are very different than doing silver enameling. So you're going to want that class. So you can use these for copper enameling, but probably you want to find something deeper for copper enameling. If you look at the bottom, you can see there's a little fire scale right at the bottom of that piece.
Ah,
And
wait, let me ask Misty. Misty, can you put in that class that Pam's talking about that's coming up on Craftcast? And Dawn, I appreciate. Dawn just said, this is breaking my brain and my pocketbook.
the other thing, well, I'll talk about the templates in a minute, but
Okay.
but anyway, I did a copper sample to say, yeah, you can do a copper sample, but it's very shallow, so you have to be, I was trying to make something lightweight and quick for silver initially, and I thought, okay, can I also use it with copper? Yes, but there are other ways that might be better, and I'll get
Okay.
to that later.
Okay.
So then the third one is drop pendants and earrings. You'll notice that every design has a loop on both ends. And that is so that you could drop a little gemstone or you could drop a little pearl. You might be able to hook them together into links, whatever you want to do with it. But I always, you guys know me, you've seen my work. I'm always doing little drops off of things. And the sample is on the next one.
But that is so great that it's already in the template and you don't
It's
have
already
to.
built in. It's already built in.
Yeah.
So here's those. That was the original pair of earrings that I did where I did the stamp in an hour. This is the original pair that I made to say, is this idea going to work? And that's enamel on there with a little pearl drop.
I mean,
And
it's like crazy just to be able to have one template, one stamp, and set you all up for doing
oh man,
something.
wait till you see how it works. I've got a whole little video on how to use them. So here we go. Now, when you get my stamps, laser cutting leaves a little dust. We clean it as best we can, but it does leave a little dust in there, and you want to wash it out before you use it for the first time. So I just use a little Dawn, one drop, tiniest drop you can get. That was like 4 times too much soap, but you get the idea. But just use like a little nail brush and brush out the design because it does leave rubber dust in the stamp. As I said, we do our very best. We vacuum them and we brush them and we vacuum them again. But you want to make sure there's no rubber dust left. And you only have to do this the first time. You don't have to do it every time unless you're using some kind of salad oil or something as a release agent that might go rancid. Then you'll want to wash it again afterwards. But mostly it's just for the first use. So I did want to show that you do need to wash these for first time use. And then I'm going to dry it off. Yes?
I love
Question?
how we use Dawn for everything.
Oh yeah, it's the best. I probably showed washing longer than I needed to.
No, that's good. It's good to remember it and to look at the stamps. I think Robin, Pam gets her rubber sheets probably. Well, we can go into that after.
The rubber that I cut.
Yeah.
For on my lasers, that's an industrial supplier. They're wholesale only.
Right.
I buy 200 sheets at a time. It's big. All right, so now I'm just using a little release agent, and I'm going to do one of these large pendants because that would be the easiest to see. And remember to go out beyond the design because the clay is going to go out beyond the design, and you don't want it to stick to the stamp. And make sure it's completely dry before you do this. Don't go from water to this. So make sure it's dried off, and then you oil up your stamp. Now I'm going to be pre-rolling with the red. I wanted to make these lightweight, and so instead of using a green, because it's a pretty deep stamp already, I wanted to try using a yellow, and a yellow turned out to be a little thin. If I do a yellow and a clear, it's just right. And I just used another stamp to bring it up to the same level. And I'm going to pre-roll with my red slats. That's 1.5 millimeters thick. And I've got my clay here. And I want to get this rolled out. If those of you who have watched my how to roll out your clay video, will see I usually roll part way and then I turn it 90 degrees and roll it the rest of the way. So I get a nice broad shape that I can lay over the design. And I want it to lay over the design completely. That's the goal, is to cover up that design. So I'm going to lay it on there. And what happened was it was actually showing a little bit. I ended up having to turn it so it didn't show. I just had to turn it the other way. All right, so there we go. And I've got my yellow and my clear slats. And now start in the middle. Don't start at one end, and just one roll up and back. Do not roll over it again and again and again. If you do, you'll mess up the frame. One firm roll up and back is all you need. And I'm just pressing it down into that mold. And you're going to see I'm going to have the design with the frame all in one pass. And there it is.
That's amazing.
And yeah, so that's that. There it is, all rolled out. And then
wait, let's pause there 1 second. Can you just tell everyone,
questions?
yeah, just the yellow and the clear, what that was in millimeter for cards? People are
Okay,
just
so let me
interested.
think. So that's yellow is 0.5 millimeter, and clear is, I want to say it's 1/8 of a millimeter. It's the clear is the very how thick. Cindy, you're the one that made me make those. Cindy. Oh, Cindy's muted. Can we
You are.
unmute Cindy?
You're muted, honey.
I moved this down because I have a little bit of a scratchy thing.
Oh, okay.
So one card is 1/4 millimeter. So
right, this is half a card.
Yeah.
So it's 1/8.
Yeah.
It's
Okay.
1/8 of a millimeter. So it's 1/8 of a millimeter plus 0.5 millimeter, if that helps.
There we go.
Any other,
and that
any other questions?
No, we're good right now. We can go forward.
Okay, so now I'm going to cut it out. And when I first made this, I just cut out. Now this is my mechanical pencil needle tool. If you haven't made yourself one of these, you should. And two things would go wrong. One, either I wouldn't cut it close enough and I'd have this big ledge that was a wasted clay, or I'd try and cut too close and I'd end up cutting into the frame.
Yeah.
And and I thought, well, how can we make this easier? I don't want a bunch of waste, and I don't want to accidentally cut the frame. So I decided to make a template to go with it. So whenever you buy one of the stamps, it comes with the matching template. It's included.
So brilliant.
So you just lay it over it and you just position it. And now, if it looks like it's difficult, remember that when we're filming, we have to do this at a certain angle. If I were right over it, I'd have it down in a second. But now I'm just following the template. I'm not going to cut into the frame. I'm not going to leave a whole bunch of excess around the edge. Just quick as you please. It's done. And then there's also a little cutout for the little inside part. So I did both.
Everyone is excited. You deserve a little standing ovation.
Oh,
right
because
now.
because of the templates.
Yes.
Oh, I love. I cannot tell you how exciting it is to have my own laser and to be able to go, hey, I have an idea, and just immediately have it.
We love it.
And so there it is. I've got it all cut out. And now all I have to do is dry that, clean up the edges, fire it, and I'm ready to do some enameling or some other technique.
Yeah, I can tell by the chat box how exciting everyone is, because we all know what can happen when we're cutting and doing.
It's not just for enamel. So like this is one of the small designs. This is set A, from set A, and I did liver of sulfur patina. And so, you don't have to do, it's not for enameling only. And this one, I just did black max. I just did regular old black max. And those earrings match that pendant that I made. So you can kind of get an idea of what that design looks like.
Isn't it funny, Pam, how we love color, but then all of a sudden we see black and we're like, oh, I love that though.
Yeah, I love black. I love black max.
Right? Yeah.
So you can just do a regular patina, liver of sulfur, black max. I use Jack's Pewter Black for copper and bronze. I find it works better than Black Max. It stays on better than Black Max. So I made one of my designs in copper, and I just used the Pewter Black, and it gives me a really nice black on base metals.
That is gorgeous on copper there.
It is, and they came out really nice. And this is what I was saying, that you can use these with copper and bronze. You're just not going to be enameling them. Here's my acrylic inks. And if you're not familiar with my acrylic inks, one of my, last year I did was it last year or the year before?
I don't
I
think it was
can't
last
remember.
year. Yeah.
I did an I Love Tools with the acrylic inks, and showed how to do this. And you can color it with acrylic inks, and that would work on copper as well. I have done acrylic inks on copper, not just on silver. So that would be another way to color copper or bronze. Is with the
Refresh my
acrylic
memory,
inks.
Pam. Is Rhonda carrying over at Cool Tools the green stuff? She is now, correct?
Not
Not
well.
yet.
She's working on
Working on it, right?
She
Okay.
doesn't have them yet. She and I talked about it, and I think
Okay.
I've got her all talked into carrying them.
Okay.
So hopefully soon those will be launching. And if they do, I'm going to do a video with her to launch those.
Great. And Lisa,
So,
you make me laugh. She just said she bought all the colors of those after watching that craft cast. And you're one of the reasons they sold out and didn't know why all of a sudden their product was all gone
yes.
at Green Stuff World.
I was like, what's happening here?
Yeah.
Anyway, so they're fabulous. They're fabulous. This is resin. So, another way to color, this is the big thing, is if you want an enamel look using these stamps on copper or bronze, you could use resin. And I just bought the clear resin, and I tinted it with those acrylic inks from Green Stuff World.
Yeah, that's a gorgeous color.
And I got to tell you, if you want that shade of purple, it's way easier to do that in resin than it is to do it in enamel. And it was lickety split. That they carry that resin at Cool Tools, and it's a UV resin. I just threw it in my little UV lamp, and bing, had it done like that.
I think that's the resin we're all loving now. I know I have some over at my desk.
I love it.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
So well.
Yeah.
And and tinting it with the acrylic inks worked beautifully. You don't need to buy colored resins. You can tint them yourself.
That's just more crazy.
So Kembu, I said I was going to be talking about Kembu. I decided to try doing Kembu on one of my designs, and it worked. Again, it's another way of adding color and variation and contrast to your work. And once it's fired, it's silver. So doing Kembu is no big deal. If you're interested in knowing how to precisely fit a shape with Kembu, I have a class on Craftcast that shows, I think, 7 different ways of doing Kembu. I have a Craftcast class on that, and it will show you how to get this. How do I match a design doing Kembu? And that's in my video.
And just remember, everyone here who teaches, you can always just go to their instructor's name, click on it, and below their name will be all their classes they teach too, so that you can then say, oh yeah, that's the one I wanted to see. So
here's a bunch of samples, and just, going across the line: acrylic ink, Kembu, enamel, liver of sulfur, resin, and black max, all with this same set of stamps. So I originally was calling them enameling stamps, and I thought, no, they're not enameling stamps. They are stamps with a deep texture to which you can apply various color and contrast treatments.
Totally.
So, any questions?
Fabulous. One here that I want to ask, which is, Cindy wants to know, does resin hold up when the piece is cleaned with jewelry cleaner?
I don't know. I haven't worked with resin long enough to know the answer to that question. I will get back to you.
We're still experimenting with all of this. I'm
experimenting. I was just trying out things and seeing how it worked. I know that the gold does. I know that the acrylic does. I tried to get the acrylic off to see how easy it would be to get off. And it turns out once it's dry, man, it is not easy to get off. I had to get all the way to denatured alcohol to get that off. Enamel holds up really well. Not sure about liver of sulfur, I usually use a polishing tool rather than any kind of liquid jewelry cleaner. So does that?
Got it.
That's
fair. That's fantastic. I'm exhausted. How do you all feel listening to all of this right now? Right? It's just, what? I could do that. So, but there's more. Just wait. There's more. Pam, really, I congratulate you. I know when you started this project, I bow down. I congratulate you. I know how hard you worked, and we get to appreciate all your hard work. So thank you. It's lovely. It's going to be really fun. So.
Oh, and wait till you see what's coming in November with the copper.
Oh yeah, the class and everything. I know, Lisa, not enough hours in the day. You have a shipping. Oh, where are you, Deborah? You want a code over in Cool Tools? It's free
It's
shipping. What is it?
no,
It's
it's ILT.
T.
It's isn't it the same code
It's
that
the
you have for the
same.
free
ILT fall
fall
2024,
four?
right?
Yeah.
Um, Misty will put it in here so you'll have it and you'll see. But I'm pretty sure it's that. I know my brain is gone now from the beginning, having seen all this. All right, thank you, darling. And don't worry, we'll get you any of those links you need. No worries at all. There it is. Misty just put it in for all of you. ILT Fall 2024. Thank you, darling. It's a lot. You can now lie down and relax.
That was fun.
It is fun. All right. But now there's more. Wait till you see what Cindy Pope's going to show everyone. It's just a lot. So just buckle in, everyone. All right, Ms. Pope, are you unmuted?
I am. Can you hear me?
Woohoo! Yes. All right.
I have a little scratchy throat, so I have to cough. I apologize.
All right. Well, tell us. Walk us through
Okay.
these beauties.
Well, I have been working for some new templates for Cool Tools, and they have ovals, but I like I call it a fat oval. I kind of like a not circle, almost a circle. So I decided to test them before Cool Tools made the templates to see if I liked the shapes and everything. And I love them. And so I wanted to show you how you can cut really quickly on the Silhouette. Some of you use a Silhouette, some of you don't. The easiest part of the Silhouette is cutting.
Mm-hmm,
So what
mm-hmm.
I did is I rolled texture sheet and dried it, put the texture down, and then cut it out. So I had a pre-textured sheet. So adding the texture is a little bit trickier with the sill, but cutting clay is super easy. So
That's great, Cindy. Great idea.
yeah, and you could also I do this type of project by hand by making dry sheet and just using like one of Pam's templates. If you love the shape, they aren't just for the pendants. They're also, you can use them as regular templates. You could cut a shape right out of the clay. Just draw it in pencil and cut it with your scissors. And the best clays are Easy 960 or FS 999 or Project X 999 Flex are the three that I would recommend. But there's also a product at Cool Tools called Rejuvenate, which will make clay flexible, and that's all in your handout.
Okay, great. You know what?
So
I just thought of something too. Hold your thought
what?
1 second, Cindy. When you
Mhm.
said textures, Misty, can you also put in the box Mr. Patrick's um, website because he's selling all these ridiculously gorgeous textures too. I mean, you're all going to flip out, is what I'm saying. And we didn't say that before. It's in your handout. Oh, Lisa, we'll put that in. Misty will drop that in a second because there's just abundance of gorgeousness for you guys all to see. So
And
I'm sorry, Cindy.
this texture is called suds, and I put in it, I put patina on everything. This is the only texture that I don't put patina on. It's almost like a bubble hammered texture, but
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to show you one that I made with Patrick's at the end because I did the same process with one of his. The nice thing about Patrick's is Pam did a much better job than I'm going to do of rolling down to get a texture, and she's
Mm-hmm.
the consummate, the texture has to be good for enameling. So with his, they're very low profile, so it's not as much of a trouble to get the texture on the sheet that you're going to dry as it would be a deep rubber stamp. So I
Got
just
it.
wanted to point that out. It's a really nice option, and they turned out beautifully. It's the ones on the right. They're nasturtiums, and there's a link in my notes. And then the ones on the left are sometimes when you cut it out, you cut a circle out, but then you can turn it over and put another little button on the back. So with dry clay, you could just cut as many little circles with circle cutters as you want. So this is a stamp I'm working on. I'm hoping to produce at some point. I really,
Pretty.
really love it. But everybody liked Patrick's the best in my
I love
family.
that nasturtium. I love it. I
It's
mean, I
really
love
cool.
yours too. They're all beautiful. There's nothing like not to like here, is all
I've
I
just
can
been
say.
looking at that one so long. So what I'm going to do is, in the handout, I've given you 3 links. I'm going to give you a general idea of how the software works. If some of you are not good cutters like me, it's very hard to get the circles centered, to get the places for your stones cut out in the right place. I have lots of things that are off base. So I'm going to give you a little quick tutorial on how I would do this design. And then I've given you references to where you can learn the software. So what I'm doing is I'm making layered earrings with these ovals with a 5mm stone. And then I always think through my design ahead of time. It makes it easier. So when I do a 5mm stone, I cut a hole. This is a faceted flatback cabochon, which I love because it doesn't take very much clay. You can set it in like 1 or 2mm of clay, whereas a pointed back stone, you have to work through the long pointy end of it. I know there's a proper term for that. So what I do is I cut a hole that's 4.75, which is a little bit smaller than the stone. I always put an aperture in the back because I like the shiny light to come through, and I use 2.5 for a 5mm stone. And then I'm putting the earring hole on it because in some shapes I can find the center pretty easily. It's at the top of the point. In this one, I felt like I was having a rough time. Now, when you if you buy the templates have nice markings for all the way around. So it helps you find the center of things, which I like. So what I did is I figured out what I wanted my shape to be, and then I always take my little components off to the right because I don't want to reinvent the wheel, and then I'll copy and paste them to the next screen. So I'm going to start with my outside shape, and then I'm going to take my 3 other shapes. And again, this is all really great for people that some people are super precise very easily. That is not me. So the Silhouette software, I used it badly for a long time. Wannery Tanner taught me how to use it. And so that some of these centering tools are super helpful for me because I can't center with my life. So I'm going to center it together. This is the little aperture hole, and I'm going to group it. When you group things, they stay together, but they keep their color. And then I'm going to I like to do a bezel that's like the same shape, not always, but in this case, the same shape. So I'm going to use some of the tools in the Sil software. And the first one is an internal offset, and it's going to make a line that's 2mm from the outside. I think I decided I wanted 3mm, less clay. And then I looked at it and it looked a little too non-organic. So I'm going to teach you a new tool. You guys have never seen me use this before, but I'm going to use it. It's called the Move tool. And I'm going to turn that circle that I just made a different color. And I'm just going to move it. And I have my move set to 1mm. And I'm just saying move it down 1mm, which gives me plenty of space all the way around, but it's still centered. It's still in the right place. So, and then I'm going to take that little cut hole that I didn't do in the first one, and I had a heck of a time finding the center. And I'm going to choose the outside one and that circle, and I'm going to use something called Transform, which is a lot of tools that are up at the top, but if you're new to this, it's always nice to use these. And I'm going to center it horizontally. And it moved a tiny bit. And I would not have seen that with my eye, but the computer can find that center. And then I'm going to use a super cool tool, and it's called Modify. And I've still got those both selected. I'm going to say Subtract. And basically what it's doing is it's subtracting the topmost shape from the bottommost. So it's creating that hole for me, which is super nice. And now I'm going to put the other 2 bezels in. So I'm going to center those. Again, I'm not really thrilled with that. I want to push it down a little bit, just a design aesthetic. So I'm going to use the Move tool again. And I'm going to move it 1mm. And everything's going to be all lined up because I had those 2 little cutouts lined up. And I'm going to make sure it's centered again. I will sometimes center multiple times just in case I knock it off center. having made a couple pieces that were not centered. This is really important.
And you can always tell after.
Oh yeah, I can't tell before. And
Yeah.
so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take those two pieces that are cut together, and I'm going to ungroup them, and then I'm going to cut the big hole out of the bezel, which is 4.75 for a 5 mm stone, really important. And then I'm going to cut the little hole out of the middle. And this, Pam does a much better job, but I'm going to show you how I did this. So I have, suds is a really tiny texture. A lot of my texture mats are big, and those are easy. Like if you're rolling down, you just change your slats. And when you have Pam slats, they're going to fit on a lot of the texture mats. I like to use these cards. I use them for rolling out the sill. So if we could pause for a second here. So what I'm doing is I'm going to roll out the clay, 3 cards. I determined my texture mat was 11 cards. So I'm going to roll 3, and then we are going to take that, and I cut it a little bit. I'm going to put it on top of the texture mat, and then I'm going to put it with those ones that are exactly the right height with a 2. So I'm rolling down. I think Patrick mentions that in his instructions for his textures too. It's really a great way to get the texture. And Pam, don't over roll. Pam gave you a great tip there. And then I just turn it off and onto a tile, and I dry it.
Okay.
Make sure it doesn't curve when you dry. You want it nice and flat. But and I love this suds texture. Some people,
do
you don't really
too.
see it till you fire it, but it's a cool texture.
It really does look like suds and bubbles. That's fun.
Yeah. And
All
there
right,
is an
so
innie and an outie. This is the one I like the best.
okay.
So since I'm doing a textured piece of clay, if we could pause just for a quick second, I'm doing a textured piece of clay, so I'm going to want to have something stickier on the bottom. You can use protective film, but I'm turning it texture side down. Now, the one I did with Patrick's and this one were very low profile. So I have a lot of contact between the clay and the sticky surface. But as you get to a thicker texture, like some of Pam's, which are the new ones are super cool, you'll want to really have something stickier. So I just used painter's tape instead of protective film, and you'll see how I secure it on the sides.
And that's, you just said that portrait there, correct?
This is the portrait. I used the portrait and the curio and the portrait people, also the Cameo 4 and 3. I have not, they have new machines that are totally different, and I have not taken the time to research those.
We love the portrait though. It's great and it's
Oh,
small and
it's light and it's low profile.
yeah.
And so when I did my design, I wanted to sit at like 3.5 squares down and 3 squares over. So I'm making the tape go over where I want it to sit. And I'll show you a visual of that in the software. And I just make sure it's really well attached. And I'm going to do something called a guide box. You don't have to do that with the Curio. And I'm talking about the Curio 1. The Curio 2, we have
Our
not
old
used yet.
curios. Yeah.
Yeah, our old Curios, which many of my students are still using because it really was the best machine out there. And I'm working on Cricut. Allison has convinced me that I need to figure out how to do metal clay with a Cricut. So
Exactly.
I will be working on that this year. So I'm putting it right on the 3rd slot. And if you have a Curio, you don't have to do a guide box because the Curio is a fixed surface, so it always goes to the same place. You could be off 0.5 millimeter and kind of mess it up here. So I do something called a guide box, which I did in very early days of my teaching.
Would this work on the Cameo 5? Someone wanted to know. Sarah wanted to know.
Is the Cameo, I think the Cameo 5 is the new ultrastatic machine. So that's the one I haven't tried. But the Cameo 4 for sure. Claudia uses her Cameo 4. And so what I'm giving you is a visual of where the blue tape is and where I want that little box. Just so you can see, you kind of want to center it across the side. And I just put the blue tape in there just to give you a visual of what the size and what, I didn't need that much tape, but tape is inexpensive. And I got 3-inch tape.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, it's Scotch Blue 2090. So I'm going to delete this blue and just give you a quick show. We go to the send screen, and this new people always have a hard time with it always lands on regular. You want to be the line color because when the version that had line colors came out, it changed everything. And so I use the line color a lot. So
Okay.
I am unclicking the red, which is cutting, and then I'm going to click the brown, and then I'm telling it which settings. And my step-by-step class goes through all these things. Um, and you can download all the settings. You used to have to put them in. So I'm going to cut for 3-card clay, and then I just have to make sure the settings on the right-hand side and the right tools are chosen.
And people who are watching this going, I don't know how to do this and I want to learn. Cindy has lots of classes over at CraftCast. Get all the settings to load. You'll learn it all.
And Alice and I did a free class calling Silhouette Just the Basics. So you
Right.
can really get a general idea of what it can do.
Right.
And I wanted to make that class free because I wanted people to just get a general idea because I use it for everything. I don't use any publishing software
And to
anymore.
get excited about it. And it's, you just have to play around like any software, but it's fun to see the possibilities. And
It really
Cindy
is.
shows us all of that. So here we go, seeing it go. This is when it's exciting, when it actually turns on and does something.
And this is Amy Chomas made a special tool that we use, and it's a little engraver, and we use it to engrave patterns in. But we're saving the engraving patterns in, and we're going to just use textured clay, which was so fast. It took less than a minute to cut it. So I put it down twice. I'm not going to show you because I got to get my little nose right on top of it to see those little marks. The most important thing is your clay you don't want to be able to see that guide box outside the clay.
Okay.
Okay. And if it's a thicker texture, I would go make your clay a little bit bigger. And actually, I take this tape and put it right up to the side and sticky. But if it's a thick texture, I think you could go over the top. But my medium texture, the one that I made that I'm hoping to produce, that one actually is, I would call a medium thickness texture, and I didn't have any problems with it.
Okay.
So it's like a little package. It's taped on. And then I'm setting it to 8. And I did do a test cut on this clay ahead of time. And so I unchecked the brown and checked the red, and now it's ready to cut. I put the tool. We always remove all the tools in the portrait before we do anything because you don't want to cut when you're trying to etch and etch when you're trying to cut. So this is the little blade. It's a pink blade. I don't use the auto blade. I have had it go wrong for me. And this is pretty much real time. This is how long it takes to cut all these little pieces out, and they're perfectly cut and everything's centered.
And that's what's exciting to see, and then make you
Yeah.
want to learn how to do this because it's fabulous.
And I fill in all the empty, like when you roll your clay, you're not going to get it exactly the size you want, but I just fill in the extra pieces with some little skinny earrings or little circle dots. I love those little circle dots because I like the way a texture looks with shiny metal all the way around. And you can see it's a very fine blade. You don't see much extra dust, but I do want to save it and reconstitute the teeny little bit that's there.
You're good.
When you engrave the pattern on, you're going to have lots of dust. And that's a different process and it takes longer. But this is so fast. It's kind of shocking how fast it goes.
Yeah.
And I decided to go texture side down because I think you're going to get a cleaner cut. And this makes a beautiful clean cut. When you're taking the tape off, you have to find the one that you did last and hold it down so you don't bend the clay. And I'm just fast forwarding so you don't have to watch me taking tape off.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah. And, just a minute and I've got stuff with texture that's perfectly, and you can draw it and scan it into the software too. There's a million different ways to use the Silhouette software. And you can make SVGs that you can use in Patrick's machine.
And if you're not doing the SVGs yet, the software is free.
Yeah.
So it's a great way to play around and see if you want to use it.
Yeah, just the basic class, we used the free version of the software,
Yeah.
which I love that they give it away for free. I think it's fabulous.
Yeah. Well, it makes you definitely want to get their machines after playing around
Yeah.
with it and learning how to use it. Uh, and Cindy and I have talked often about how it's just great to then just use it to design with and really think things through before you actually make it. So,
Yeah,
um,
that little piece that you showed me sweeping the dust onto, I had taken my piece and taken it down 90% just to make sure the size was not too big, because you want to make sure the fired size is what you're looking for. The first ones I made were too heavy, and I like my earrings under 4 grams. 4 grams or under. So I made 3 because I couldn't stop. And
so pretty.
and I have like detailed instructions for joining, and I did some step-by-step instructions in your handout. And this is a cool powder coating. I had some I didn't want to set a stone, but I decided to cut a hole in them. And so I put powder coating with something that Shelley's going to talk about.
Oh yeah, just
Big
wait.
secret. I was so excited to hear what she's doing.
And I
So
love your circle. What did you call your circle again
it's like
before?
a fat oval.
A
And
fat.
again, you can look to the Cindy Pope templates section at Cool Tools, and those will be coming up as soon as Rhonda gets back, probably. And here's another piece I made. This is where I fell in love with the bubbles texture, and this one really shows how lovely it looks.
Yeah, it is really, really pretty to see that. Suds. You remember that name, Suds. It looks like Suds. And there's our Patrick's,
Yes.
his texture. It's so pretty.
Yeah, and I see how beautifully neat it cut out. It's just
Yeah,
with
yeah, yeah.
Easy 960, of course. And art clay, actually, you add a little rejuvenate to art clay. It's pretty flexible. It's a unique clay. I don't think there's another one like it. So, but and the Project X 999 is the one I like. But Easy
And
960 is
so
still my
pretty.
favorite for this because it's just like butter. And here's the texture that I did. My friend got a glow forge.
Lovely.
Thank you, Rebecca. She's on. And she was kind enough to print a stamp for me. So here they all are. And again,
Freaking
Patrick's was
gorgeous.
the favorite.
I know Patrick's is beautiful. Is he listening still? Oh yeah, he is.
He is.
I'm here, yes.
I was kidding. But we
I haven't got
like to
kicked off.
applaud everyone and their work. Cindy, thank you, darling. I mean,
My
that's
pleasure.
overwhelming, right? Overwhelming, more stuff to learn. Highly recommend. Get the Silhouette software for free. Start playing around with it. Come over to Craftcast. We have every class Cindy has done to help you through it. And what's great is you watch the video while you're using your machine and doing the software. And then you can pause the video and say, wait, what did she say? Where's that tool? That's how I learned. So just saying. It's
And
really
I taught
fabulous.
Pam how to use the Silhouette software, and she has just taken off with it.
We're all
You
like,
did.
this is what I love about all of us here. So thank you, honey. It was fantastic once again.
Thanks.
Now, Wiz, it's your turn. I am loving this. Okay, so here's what's next. Wiz is going to show us how. Wiz, is your mic on? No, it's not. Go ahead. You play with your mic. She's going to show us, you know how you buy part A and B molding material? I get it in Michael's, and you mix it together to make your molding material. Wiz is going to show us how to make your own molding material. It's sort of like cooking, but with craft supplies is all I could say.
I think I'm on now. Am I
You
on
are
now?
now. You're on now, honey.
Yay!
So she's going to walk us through this. So I love this, and you're not going to believe what you're going to see now. So this is really fun. All right, Wiz, thank you so much for coming on and showing us this. So tell us
Hi, thank you
about
so much for having me.
Of course. Tell us about Proto Putty.
Okay, so Proto Putty was introduced to me about 3 months ago. It's not my invention at all. I can't claim this. It was invented by a Canadian called Grant Thompson. But I've kind of tried to tidy up the recipe a little bit and make it a little bit more of a recipe and not just chuck this together, chuck that together.
Okay.
Having said that, my recipe is a walnut size of silicon. I didn't actually measure it. As any good tutor would, there's health and safety with this. The silicone itself has a really, really strong odor. So please, please do this in a well-ventilated area. I gave myself so many headaches when I first started playing with this. Literal headaches from the smell of it. So please do it in well-ventilated.
Okay, thank you.
So I think the main thing that you need to know is that the silicone you use needs to be 100% silicone, or the purest silicone you can get. And I shared with Misty the brand that I used, which seems to be working well. So
Check that
yeah,
out in the handout.
yeah, and it's got loads of uses because I love that two-part molding compound. We all use that two-part molding compound, right? And it's absolutely fabulous. But I find it is really, really expensive. So I wanted something, and I don't make molds because it's so expensive. So I wanted
Okay.
something much cheaper that I could like make a million molds with. And I've started molding and making all sorts of random things with it now just because
Well,
it's
we
fun.
have to do cheaper bowls because we want to buy the X machine.
Totally.
We have to save money in places. All right, so I see here you have your drips of essential oil and you have some
Yeah.
corn flour or corn starch, and that's
Yeah,
how
it's
we
the same.
start.
Yeah, it's a corn flour and cornstarch have different names in England
Right,
to America, but they are the same thing.
perfect. All right, so here's what it looks like, and the
Yeah,
detail is fantastic.
so on the left is the actual shell, and it has a very, very fine texture in that shell. In the middle is the mold I made, and on the right hand side is the silver clay. That was still in its wet state. I wouldn't normally demold wet, but I was rushing to take the photo. So the texture it picks up, this molding compound is ridiculous. It's
That
amazing.
is amazing. Do you have a personal preference for which essential oil you use?
I use vanilla just because it's what I happen to
To
have.
have. Okay,
Actually, because I am a real cheapskate, I didn't use actual essential oils. I took apart the diffuser, and I got the oil out of like the
perfect.
plug-in diffuser in the corner of the room.
Perfect.
That's why it's vanilla, because it's the one I had in the studio.
This is a girl who
And
knows how to get it together here. So
and the
it's
essential oil is optional. You don't have to add an essential oil.
okay.
It's just that the silicone is quite strong and it does help to overcome it.
Okay. Sounds good. All right. I'm going to start your video and you walk us through what you did here.
Thank you. Okay, so this is it once it's made. This is what you are actually going to make. You're going to make molding compound, and you can make it any color you like. That's what I absolutely love about this. You buy the food coloring, that is your favorite color. Obviously, Miss Wiz is pink, so I had to make it pink, but some of my friends and students are now making it in blackberry color because it's just fun. Okay, so what do you need? You're going to need silicon, 100% silicon, or the clearest, the purest silicon you can get. My one's translucent. The video I first saw said you need clear, but the translucent's fine. Corn flour, cornstarch. I got mine from the local supermarket. It's so cheap. Liquid food coloring needs to be liquid food coloring, not gel food coloring. There's my essential oil in my little dripper. Got my little plastic pot I'm going to mix up in. Got a spoon for measuring out my corn flour, and I've got a wooden stick just for stirring it with, and a whole bunch of stuff to mold. I also have gloves. This is the one and only time I have ever worn gloves making this stuff. But I thought for the sake of a video, I should do it properly. It was a bit of a nightmare, as you'll see. But yeah, gloves if you feel like you need to wear gloves. It's not going to hurt you at all. Okay, so silicone into the mixing pot.
This is the
About
walnut size, right?
about a walnut size blob.
Okay.
Yeah, walnuts come in different size. This is not an exact science. And just scoop that off the end. So you've got a kind of a walnut size blob of silicone in the pot with your windows wide open at this point. You're going to add your food coloring. You need about 3 or 4 drips of food coloring. And believe it or not, the food coloring is the magic ingredient that makes this work. This pot was really hard to squeeze. It was a bit annoying. And then I'm just going to put in 2 drips of that oil that came off my diffuser. And you're going to make a hell of a sticky mess. Yeah, and it perhaps pink wasn't the most amazing color to use for a demonstration video, but yeah, you're just making a really, really sticky mess with your silicone. Get that liquid food coloring all mixed through. And from this point, the timer starts. Now you've got 15 minutes. 15 minutes until this sets up. And yeah, so you need to make it and mold in 15 minutes.
Okay.
So there you go. So you've mixed all your food coloring and essential oil through, and then I'm adding 3 fairly generous teaspoons of corn flour, cornstarch, depending on which country you're in. And you're going to start to mix that in. You'll immediately think you've already added too much cornstarch, corn flour. But trust me, keep going.
Okay.
It's going to go a bit kind of dry looking and a bit kind of flaky, but keep going. Yeah, just keep mixing.
Oh, that's
Get
good
it off
to know.
get it off the spatula or whatever you're mixing with, and just keep mixing. And you kind of, it's a mix, but it's kind of a smush. So you kind of pushing the flour into the gooey silicone mess that you made.
I like that. It's a
Trust
mix
me,
and a smush.
yeah, it's a smush. I love the word smush. I'm using the word smush a lot at the minute. It's great. But
But you know
yeah,
what? I can see already what you said, that it's coming back around now to being,
yeah,
yeah.
it kind of goes a bit dusty and like it's falling apart, like this isn't working, but just stick with it. Trust me, stick with it. And this is in real time. This isn't sped up at all. Alison and I did talk about speeding this up a bit, but we decided
It
it's
would
better
be
to do
better
it
for you
real
to see
time.
it, because this is one of the
Yeah.
important things about this, to really see this part. I forget, what did you say was on your silicone? Does it say silicone chalking on that?
No,
Caulking
it's not
rather? Silicone
caulking.
caulking? It's not caulking. Okay.
No, caulking is something different.
Okay.
I've been meaning to try it with caulking and see if this will work with caulking. I don't think it will, but I will try it at some point. But no, this is 100% pure silicone. And don't get a colored one either. Don't get a white one.
Okay.
Because that's an additive into the silicone. So then it's not as pure as being a clear. The one
Okay.
I'm using is translucent, apparently. And this works fine, but I wouldn't use one that is like very colored.
Okay.
So the purest silicone you can get. Hey, look, you can see it's kind of coming together now.
Right. Yeah.
It's coming into but it is still quite sticky, believe it or not. I know it kind of looks dry in the video, but it is still very sticky. So I think in a minute I'm going to put my gloves on. Spoon test. Spoon test. Stick it to the spoon. Does it still stick to the spoon? If it sticks to the spoon, you need to add a bit more corn flour or cornstarch. So at this point, I put the gloves on. As I say, this is the only time I've ever worn gloves to do this. I just let it get on my hands when I'm making this myself. I thought for a tutorial video, I should look like I'm doing it properly.
Okay.
I don't bother with the gloves. I let it stick to my hands, and then once it's stuck to your hands and you've made it, just rub your hands together really, really hard, and it kind of just flakes off.
Mm-hmm.
So you can see it sticking to the gloves there. So it is still too sticky at this point. So I am going to add a bit more corn flour to it. I'm just reaching in with my hand now. Don't worry, that corn flour is not going back in the kitchen. So yeah, just mixing it through and just kind of kneading it in at this point. The gloves are really a nightmare.
Yeah, but
just
we can
kneading it.
see it's now getting less sticky. All right, so a little more
Yeah.
corn. That's good to see.
Yeah. And you'll kind of know it has almost exactly the same consistency as that 2-part molding compound
Okay.
that we all know. So
Okay.
you know the consistency that you're going for, because we've all done it with the 2-part. So it's kind of, yeah, soft and smushy.
Oh, Lisa just put in, thank you, Lisa, for doing that. What is a non-shrinking marine quality automotive silicone sealant, high quality, not caulking.
It's not actually that expensive. Actually, the tube I'm using, my husband relieved from work. So that's the one I had, but it's actually really not expensive to buy. And that tube, I mean, I used a walnut size, and I'm going to make about 7 molds out of this, I think, out of this walnut size blob. So you can imagine how many molds are in that
Right.
entire tube of silicone.
Right.
With
Yeah, so I'm just kind of kneading it. Hi.
can you add too much? of the cornstarch?
You can, yeah. I had a student make add too much. It was still usable, and she still had a mold that she could use. It was actually kind of the back of it that was a little bit cracky, if you like. But the mold she made was still absolutely fine. But you can see it's that soft squishiness that we're all used to from two-part molding compound. It's almost the consistency of silver clay, like that softness, like brand new out of the packet softness.
Mm-hmm.
So I've got my little things here that I'm going to mold, and I've got my little blob of molding compound over there. I should have oiled these up before I made the molding compound, really. Yeah. And I am doing this on tough cards because I did do it on my desk one time and it just completely stuck to my desk. So I am doing this on tough cards. So I've got a couple of shells, I've got a couple of beads, just to kind of show what can be molded. I mean, you guys know what you're going to mold. I'm not an expert molder. I don't do them amazingly neat. I just smush them over the top. So there's one mold gone there. So yeah, just pinch off a chunk, roll it into a little ball and smush it over the top of whatever it is you're molding. But you're all used to doing that with your two-part molding compound. So
I love
don't
this.
need to
So,
teach
you know
you
what I
that bit.
keep thinking too is if you wanted to know what your theme molds were, you could change the color. Like pink could be stuff at the beach, blue could be stuff from the garden to
Yeah,
keep track of
yeah,
them.
totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Because like all of the molds in my drawer currently are that I've previously made are blue because that's the two-part molding compound that I get. But it's slowly being taken over with pink molds now. But yeah, you're right, actually. I was teaching this to a couple of girls a couple of weeks ago, and I had pink. One friend had purple, and another friend had blue. So we all knew which were our
There
molds
you
that we
go.
had
Yep.
made because I was showing them how to do it, but we knew which ones were ours.
And Claudia just had a question. They're reusable molds, right? They're not one time.
Oh no, you can use these molds as many times as you want, and you
Right.
can
That's
put
what I
them on
thought.
your
Yeah.
mug warmer. I don't have a dehydrator, so I've not tested them in the dehydrator. But I use a mug warmer for drying my silver clay, and these are mug warmer safe. I actually deliberately put one on my mug warmer, switched on for 24 hours to see if it would burn or melt or
Okay.
do something nasty, and there was no change whatsoever. So some tests like you would with your two-part molding compound, if you've got a thumb mark in it, it's not ready yet. And if you don't, then it is ready. So demold. I think this is that really shallow texture shell.
That's great.
And you just see how amazing that comes out.
Pretty.
Yeah, so you can put them on your mug warmer. So if you put your silver clay in them, you can put the entire thing on the mug warmer to dry. So you're not demolding wet or anything like that. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
I love it. I mean,
I had a lot of fun.
yeah. I mean, to have another way that we can make our own material and save money doing it, it's great. I love that you can color it your own color too, just for organizational purposes.
Yeah. And when I was teaching those girls, and one of us we had pink, purple, and blue food coloring, and then we started mixing them, mixing the food colorings and making random colors. And my friend Kirsty was making blackberry colored. It was hilarious.
Well, we're going to play whenever we have an opportunity to add color. You know that. All right, you just put silver clay in there, right?
Yeah, that's silver clay, and I would put it on my mug warmer to dry it before I demolded. But I just wanted to very quickly show
Great,
just
great texture.
the extreme texture that came out of that really, really shallow textured shell.
And here's a good
So that's
question Leah had. How do you store your stamps? Any
how do I
issues?
store the molds?
Yeah, I'm sorry, your molds,
What
not
I
your stamps.
what I would say at this point is they do smell like silicone after you have made them. And what I did was I actually chucked them all in a bowl of just warm water with dish soap overnight, and they stopped smelling of silicone overnight. So that's a really good top tip there. And I just store them in a drawer. I've just got a drawer on my desk full of molds.
It's I love Ms. Pam East has already just ordered on Amazon. I love when you guys order right away when we're showing something. It's like, I'm trying that. I love that. I'm doing that. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, I just had a lot of fun.
I mean, and it's such great texture.
Okay, so this was cleaning out the pot. So there is residue left in the pot. So I particularly used a plastic pot. I let whatever bit I couldn't get out of the pot set in the plastic pot, just the same amount of time as I left the molds for, and it just kind of peels out. It's yeah, it's a weird, satisfying thing, peeling the dried molding compound out of the plastic pot. But it does come perfectly clean if you just keep kind of rubbing it, and it'll come off. And this is the same for your hands. If you get it on your hands, just give it some time, and it sets faster on your hands because your hands are warm. And just rub your hands together really, really, really hard, and it just kind of peels and flakes off.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, don't eat it, but it's not harmful in any way. Yeah, so
There
it's
you
me just
go.
peeling it out the pot. It's very satisfying.
Oh yeah, it came
Yeah, and there you
totally
go. The
clean.
pot came completely clean. That was I just wiped it around with some kitchen roll afterwards just to get rid of the corn flour as well. So can you pause there just a moment,
Mm-hmm.
Alison?
Mm-hmm.
So obviously there is a pile of molds in the middle of that image there. On the left-hand side, the domed pink blob is I needed a former that was I had an inside former and I needed the outside former, so I just chucked some proto putty in it, and then I had a dome that I could dome my silver clay over. And again, that can go on the mug warmer. So then you can dry your domes really quickly. If you've got a lot of my doming forms are plastic and I can't put them on the mug warmer, so I can now make forms that can go on the mug warmer. The red pot with the lid on it, I just made a lid. That's what I keep my olive oil in that I use as a release agent. So I just made a lid for that. And on the right hand side, I've got a little tool sitting on a little tool stand, and that was literally by making kind of a little log and then just pressing in a tool, and now I've got a tool stand. And I was actually using that today. I was making metal clay jump rings on a little wooden stick, and so I put the tool stand thing on the mug warmer, and then I could, because I hate waiting for metal clay to dry, so I could kind of suspend it over the mug warmer, so I could dry my jump rings nice and quickly and get on with my day. So there are so many different things you
Oh
can
my
do with
gosh.
this stuff, and
I,
now you can make it really cheaply. You're not limited,
it's
because you can just make a massive blob of it. Go for
You made that so easy. You are our chef today. Thank you for cooking the craft supply
it.
process. You just mentioned you had in there your olive oil. Do you put some on your molds every time you use them?
I usually do for the first sort of dozen times I use them, and then I find the olive oil kind of builds up a little bit.
Okay,
So usually by the time I've used the mold a dozen times, I don't
you
need
don't need to.
to
Okay.
oil it anymore.
I know someone
Can I
had
just
that question. Yeah.
can I just backtrack ever so slightly? I
Yep.
said make yourself a massive blob of it and go mad with this stuff. Just be aware you've got 15 minutes
Right. Good point. Good point.
from the time you add the food coloring. So if you are making a big batch, that means you are making one big mold. If you need more working time, make up a little batch and do what you need to do, and then make up another batch and do what you need to do. I just thought I'd chuck that in there.
That's so lay out everything. Don't try to think, what am I molding after you've started mixing? Have all of your little things ready to go, basically,
Yeah,
is
like you
what's
would with your
important.
two-part anyway.
Yes,
So
exactly.
yeah,
Exactly. So
but don't mix up too much at once. I have made that mistake.
thank you, darling. Make sure you come to Wiz's class coming up where she's doing those collectible little ornaments and the tree and that adorable little puffy heart and all kinds of fun things. So we love what Wiz is coming up with. We have other plans coming up with. You will see. But I know you all enjoyed this. It's really fun. So thank you so much, Wiz, for showing us this.
You're very welcome.
It's really, really fun. Everyone's already ordering their supplies. I can tell. All right, we're going to finish up with magic because why not? This is what I showed. If you were on, maybe you weren't, that I had even played around with these flakes. This was so easy to do. I'm embarrassed to even admit to that. You're going to see. Shelly is going to now show us what you can do with, they are Opal Flakes, but we're calling them just color magic at this point. She has a full class on this coming up as well, but we just wanted to show this off because it is another really exciting things. And we like to end with just staring at pretty colors that are shiny and ooh, ah, it's fun. So Shelly, thank you so much for showing this. And we're excited. I know right off in your video, look at that, people.
Mm, all
Mm-hmm.
right. So this is an example of jewelry I made using multi-chrome flakes and UV resin, using a technique you may not be familiar with yet, but take a look at how they change color as you tilt them. That's the magic here. All right, these are my little jars of multi-chrome flakes. I think the very best ones in the world come from Jet Age Studio Pigments, and I have submitted the link, and there's a discount, a 15% discount, thanks to Renee Wiggins, who runs Jet Age Studio Pigments. On the left, the little jars you see have the multi-chrome, which just means multiple color. Okay, so the flakes on the left have an opaque base, so color does not go through them. If you look at the little pots on the right, they are the exact same kind of colors, but they are over a translucent base. On the left, the opaque flakes, what you see is what you get. But with the translucent flakes, or sometimes called opal flakes, what you see is not what you get. So they, being translucent, the color that's underneath affects what you see. All right. So this is very important, okay, because if you choose wisely, you get magic. If not, you get mud. And so I'd like to show you how to make sure you're getting magic out of these amazing flakes.
And
All right. So
let me
there
wait.
is,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
no, go ahead, Allison.
I just wanted to say this was an example when I did this, and Shelley had told me paint black underneath, so that's why that looks that way. So it is pretty amazing, is all I'm saying. So you're gonna
Yes.
flip out. Are we
All
moving on
right.
from this?
Yes.
Okay, good.
So you see one color when you're looking straight at these. You see another color when they're tipped. And the extra amazing feature is magic that I want to show next. So if you could,
It's starting right now.
okay, is mirror. When you put these translucent flakes over a mirror, you get an amazing flash, like a glow coming back. Now, some of these I cut myself, and some you can just get from a craft store. All right, they're just acrylic craft mirrors.
Mirrors. Okay.
Not expensive at all.
Okay, very cool.
Right. So let me the next I'll show you. Okay, so here the video is going. So that's a shape I cut with a laser. And then I make samples for all of my flakes so that you can really know what you're going to get. So the part that, here's my flame red opal, which is one I love. So you can see where it's flashing blue. And here's the flakes, right? You can't really tell what you're going to get out of there. So you got to make a sample. So the flash of blue, that is the mirror color coming through. And the red is where the flakes are over black paint that I sponged onto the mirror before putting on the resin. And because the samples are so important, I'd like to show you the first step, how to make a sample. So I took one of the acrylic mirrors and I sponged on black paint, and then I put a layer of UV resin and only partially cured it. So the resin is still sticky. I used 30 seconds. And I use my finger to pick up those flakes. And oh, I love this. It is so much fun, you guys. It makes me happy just watching it. Okay, so I put, for the sample, you put the flakes all over it. And these are not red flakes and blue flakes. These are all the same flake. It just changes what you see based on the light coming through it. All right, and so I just pat them down very gently, and then I coat it with a layer of UV resin. And don't miss this. This is the best. I love this part. I could sit in my studio and do this all day. So when you put the resin over it, and when you see it in person, you see the bright colors flashing through it. And I'm just, because this is such a simple shape, I can just tip it and let the resin flow all over it. And then I would flash it with a lighter if I saw any bubbles. But look at that. That's amazing. cure for 90 seconds. And then here is the sample that you can, so that you know what you're going to get when you use
Got
the
it. Oh, that's
translucent flakes. And here is a sample of a necklace that I made just using these red opal flakes over mirror. Now, to take it up a notch, you can combine them with the translucent flakes with an opal flake. So when you tip this, you see that tipped color of green, and the straight on color is pink. So I chose to combine this with Pink Envy, because when you look at the straight on color, it looks good. Tip it, look at the tipped color, those greens play very nicely together. So that is how you can make sure that they're going to be very complementary. And here is a sample I made of earrings. So the base was a mirror, and I just sponged black paint on the lower edge of the earrings. And then I put first the opal flakes on, a layer of resin, and then the Pink Envy flakes, just like spice, not over the whole thing, just in the right places to add that gold green flash. And if you could stop it there, the code, I saw the question that the code for the discount, it's 15% off, Jet Age 15 off.
there you go.
Okay, I don't want anyone to go on there and start ordering and miss their discount. Okay, because Renee was very happy to extend that discount to
Thank
all
Renee
of
for
us.
us for
Yeah,
another
and that is,
addiction.
yeah, this is good through November 30. So you can
There
get
you
some,
go.
play with them, and then realize that you need more of this in your life and order some more.
It
And also
is,
the black trays that I had stored them in.
yeah.
Thank you for pausing it just
Yep.
a second. I can send you that, the code to make the actual code to make a 3D print of it. I don't sell the trays. But if you have a 3D printer, I'm happy to share the code with you to make one for yourself. All
Oh,
right.
I see what you're saying. Okay, yeah, that's
Yes.
a great little
The
storage thing. Okay.
organizer trays for
Yep, yep.
storage.
Okay.
All right. Now we're going to take it up another notch and use these opal black translucent flakes that look green and a little bit of gold. We're going to combine it with two kinds of opaque flakes. The first one I chose is Shangri-La. And when you tip Shangri-La, you see, I don't know if you saw it, it's kind of berry purple straight on. And then when you, just like the black opal is pink at the tipped color. And then the Shangri-La tipped color is golden. Okay,
Oh,
let's see
yeah.
if you
There it
can.
is. There it is.
Yep,
Yeah.
there it is. The golden green. And that's very complementary with the second one I picked, which is Carnivale, which is another favorite of mine because there's a lot of colors going on. Carnivale is the gold. And you know what? The tipped color of Carnivale is a purpley pink. I didn't catch it very well, but they all play very nicely together. And I always make a sample to test. So in this sample, I covered the whole thing with the black opal flakes. I added just a little bit of Carnivale and a little more of the Shangri-La, looked at it from all different angles, and I just think this is so luscious
Well,
and
you know you
rich.
are hypnotizing us, right? That's why we
Oh,
put this
well.
at the end. Yeah.
All right, then here's a sample I made using those three flakes. All right, you see the mirror color up at the top where it's glowing. And then at the bottom, I had sponged on black paint and put the opal flakes. And then you can see when you tip it, all those goldy greens are playing nicely together.
So when you're
And
wearing
then
it and it's moving around, you see
you
everything.
see, yes, you do. And here, all of them are showing their pink shift from that other direction. And straight on, you get the dominant color of the flakes. So that,
And
and people were like, how in the world, what is that? All right, this is the final one I'm showing, and this is the most difficult situation when you are wanting to combine two translucent flakes, because that mirror color can make mud in a flash. But these are going to play nicely together because the mirror colors of orange and yellow are next to each other on the color wheel. The straight on and tipped colors also are really nice together. That blue and that mint, they look good. So here is the sample that you can see how rich that mirror color is because of those two translucent flakes. And this is just a little hairpin I made to just show the magic of those two flakes together. All right.
We're all hypnotized here. We all have no more words to say. Renee just came on. There she is. She's put on the link, the discount
Oh, good.
code. La, yay. I
Welcome,
mean,
Renee. Thank you for
yes.
all the magic. She developed these
Oh, yeah.
flakes.
Oh,
And
I saw a
China's
little
trying to
question.
copy them, but
Yeah,
they're
well,
not. Yeah, these are the real professional quality flakes that you will get amazing results with. I love them. Can you
yeah,
tell?
it's magic. Someone, I saw a question roll by, the black paint. I just used acrylic paint, right? We just use sort of
Yeah,
any
you can
black
use.
paint.
I have a problem with patience, and so I found a black paint that's very opaque and dries quickly. It's a vinyl paint. I got it at Blick Art Supply. I don't know how to speak French, but it's like flashe or something like that. It's vinyl paint. Very opaque, very matte, and dries quickly. So
There you go.
acrylic is great too. Acrylic is
That's what I
fine
used. I just used a
if you
black
want to,
acrylic.
yeah,
So.
just like to develop your character a little bit, and so you can be
Oh,
more patient than I am.
none
Um,
of us have patience in this group. I know that about all of us. Just saying. All right. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. All right. Renee is answering some of your questions in the chat box. Shelley has a class coming up in this, so you can learn more and more. Buy your supplies now. It's going to be great fun what she's doing. Use your coupon code. Go get her class now. I think your class is in November, right, Shelley?
November 16.
There you go. A handout into the, you know what, Missy, Missy, put the handout in the box there. I know that we don't have everything. Something got updated literally live when we were doing this. Dawn, I know. Oh my God, is all I can say too. But wait, I don't want people to not have there it is, moving around. I just want to thank all of our amazing presenters today. I mean, come on. If we could all give them a standing ovation right now, I know we would. So they are really put their heart and soul into all of this because we all love learning and sharing all of our new tools. So Patrick, Pam, Wiz, Shelley, Cindy, I bound out to all of you as I always do. Thank you so much for doing your amazing sharing with all of us. Yes, everyone's applauding. I know they're so good. And then just so that you know, the coupon code is a reminder for both Cool Tools and Craftcast. Come over and check out all of our new classes, ILT Fall 24. Or was it 2024? I think it might be. I think it's both. I'll make sure both are working because sometimes we put in both. So let me just make a note over there right now, and I'll do that. If you want to see that, you will get a follow-up email. Make sure you go to our sign up and subscribe to our newsletter because you get all this latest stuff and when things are happening. There we go. Misty put it in. It is with 2024, but I'll make sure both work. So that you get the information. And if you want to see the recording, you'll get an email. But what you do is you go over to Craftcast. A lot of you logged on direct through Zoom. Just go over to Craftcast, put it in your cart. If you're not buying anything else, you won't be charged to check out. It's free. But that way you'll have the recording and your handout in the library. Give 24 hours for that. You will get an email. And did I say everything, everyone? What am I forgetting? Anything? I'm exhausted.
Can
Go
I share
ahead.
something real quick
Yes.
about my party tomorrow? Is that
Oh, right. Go
allowed?
ahead. Yes, please.
Yeah. Okay. So if you're not already a member of Pammy's Designs Chat on Facebook, I'm putting the link in the chat. Tomorrow I am hosting a 1,000. We got over 1,000 members, so I'm hosting a little party with prizes. And Allison and Patrick are two of my sponsors. We have other sponsors as well, but you can win Craftcast classes. You can win Texture Smith textures. So navigate over there tomorrow morning, and it's not timed really precisely. If you just get over there sometime within 24 hours, you'll be able to answer the questions to be eligible for prizes.
It's more fun, and you might win something. I mean, come on, we all want to have fun. So if you are listening to the recording, you probably would have already missed that. These are the fun things that you get to learn when you come on live. So again, I just want to thank everyone from the bottom of my heart for supporting CraftCast, support all of our teachers, Cool Tools. We love it, and we couldn't do it without you. So thank you all so much for coming. And I hope you enjoyed it. I'm a little overwhelmed myself, and I already knew what they were presenting. So there you go. So goodbye, everyone. Any questions, support at craftcast.com, and we will answer any of your questions. We love doing all of that. There it is with Cool Tools as well. Like I said, support at craftcast.com. Have a great evening, everyone. Thank you so much for coming. And thank you, all of my presenters. Love you all. Big hugs and kisses. Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, honey.